Welcome to the Maggie-Law Maritime Museum in Gurdon. The museum is housed in an old building which was formerly the store for Coast Guard apparatus for shore-to-ship rescue in the area of Kincardineshire. The building itself is picturesque and has recently been refurbished with great community support. The main part of the building, in the lower part, houses the centrepiece of the museum itself, the surf boat, the Maggie-Law. The fishermen of Gurdon decided that they needed a purpose-built inshore lifeboat which would serve their purpose of rescuing people from the harbour mouth. All too often, many ships and sailors had come to grief only a few yards from shore. So in 1890, the fishermen of Gurdon decided that they would pay a penny in the pound from their catch, and from that money they would commission James Murrett, a local boat builder, to build a boat to their specifications. The boat that James built was 30 feet in length, 6 feet in beam, and had a shallow draft which allowed it to ride the surf. It was rowed by 6 men and steered by a 7th man on a long steering oar. This lifeboat has a tremendous record of service from its building in 1890 to its final journey in 1930. 40 years of service in which it saved 36 lives of people who otherwise would have been lost. So this wonderful piece of maritime heritage in Gurdon is the centrepiece of the museum, and rightly so. Surrounding the lifeboat itself are 3 small galleries which have been created to give visitors to the museum a wider experience. The first gallery is called the Wheelhouse Gallery, and this must be the smallest art gallery in Scotland. It features each month one different artist from the local community who can display 3 pieces of their work in the wheelhouse windows. The second gallery is called the Coast Guard Gallery, and it is housed inside the Maggie-Law lifeboat itself and shows all the equipment that the Coast Guards would have used in their rescue. The third gallery is called the Gurdon Gallery and contains a selection of portraits, photographs, exhibits, poetry, all there to extend the experience for visitors of the rich maritime heritage of Gurdon. Part of the refurbishment of the museum has included the building of an artificial cliff face against one wall. This serves 2 purposes. One, as a backdrop for the lifeboat itself, and secondly, as an educational area for school pupils and for children. Displayed along the artificial wall are a variety of seabirds found on our Kincardineshire coast. Some of these birds will have 3 names. For example, the puffin would be the common name for this particular bird, which nests and burrows at the top of the cliff. The local name for the puffin would be Taminori, and the Latin for a puffin would be Fratercula artica. And the hope is that by an educational activity which asks pupils and children to match birds and their names from this wall, we would be extending their knowledge of the natural habitat of our area as well as the wildlife found along our shores. Also on the back wall in the corner is a model of a Coast Guard being suspended down a cliff, partaking in one particular rescue. And so we have along this cliff wall the heritage, the natural heritage, and we have the maritime rescue heritage all displayed in the ground floor area of the museum. All in all, it makes an interesting experience. This very small building has been maximised to provide the very best in visitor attraction and visitor interaction. Around each area of the museum there are special boards which will tell the story of specific articles, exhibits or events, and these are all clearly identified in the area so that a visitor can actually make as much or as little of the museum experience as they wish. There is also a plasma screen and a computer where we can link to all the other fisheries museums in Scotland. This plasma screen will also help us during the breeding season to link to some of the nature reserves such as St Cyrus and the Foulsheugh RSPB reserve at Crotton. This will extend and provide an educational, ongoing experience of our natural habitat and the wildlife of our coasts. That concludes the downstairs part of your visit to the Armchair tour of the Maggie Law Maritime Museum.